Hello, 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 YouTube. How's everybody doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Real Talk Therapy 101 with your girl, Ebony. And if you are a newcomer to the channel, want to say welcome. Here at Real Talk Therapy 101, we talk about and focus on our mental health, our therapy, treatment. I simply refer to it as a conversation, talking about those things that we all face in everyday life, and we just don't know how to maneuver through some of our uncharted waters when we get to certain places. And we shy away from mental health because a lot of people automatically assume that mental health means that you are crazy. Well, believe it or not, things can go on in your life that you just can't grab a hold of. They can make you feel like you're crazy. Like the fact that your girl is outside, literally outside. I shared with you guys that there's some home renovations and stuff going on, so you may hear some stuff in the background. Please pardon the background noise. I'm hoping that you all can still hear, learn, grow, and go. And if you're new to the channel as well, my name is Ebony Campbell. I live in the state of North Carolina. I am a certified alcohol and drug counselor. In the state, I'm also a certified peer support specialist, and I'm currently in school to become a licensed clinical social worker. So we're more than halfway through with that. And my take on creating Real Talk Therapy 101 was from personal experiences as well as from working in a job. Been doing different things in the human healthcare field probably all of my life. HBCU educated, undergrad from Elizabeth City State University, first master's in public administration from Grand Canyon University, and working on the master's in social work at Grand Canyon University. So with all of that good education and all of that good schooling and all of that good ways to navigate, here on Real Talk Therapy 101, we have real life conversations, y'all. I'm using cartoons, songs, real life experiences without the exposure of names or people, in relation to what I use for examples. We use higher power, spiritual beliefs, and I do not pass judgment or discriminate on you, who you are, what you believe in. But if I use a spiritual reference, it's usually from what I'm familiar with, which is Christianity, and my higher power. But when I give the examples, I encourage you to listen to what's being explained instead of focusing on where the message comes from. Because believe it or not, we can get some really good advice, some really, really great strategies from everyday cartoons, songs, what have you. So also here on the channel, we feature a custom-made t-shirt of the day that usually goes along with our conversation, as well as I just had started advertising my kicks of the day, as well as my Coach bag of the day. I was saying a bag of the day, but your girl has a slight addiction to Coach. I'm trying to reach out to Coach so that they can sponsor me and work with me from there. And at this point in life, your girl has gone from the high heels and the cutie tootsies to becoming a full-blown sneakerhead. So I just like to share and point that out. That's the realism part of it, and part of who I am, and some of the things that I'm interested in, and some things about me as I get to navigate with you through some things with you. Also, if from watching the channel you decide that you want to seek some assistance for whatever it is that you may be going through, if I am not well versed and or work for an agency that is, and I purposely have my badge turned backwards, but y'all do see the Coach lanyard though, don't play. I do contract with companies, and I also know some really, really good people in the field of mental health that I would refer you out to get those things that you need that I'm not certified and or licensed to provide any type of anything with. I will get you to the right people. So And at any rate, there's also no editing. I don't edit. I don't know how to do all that stuff. I'm growing in the channel, learning how to do this stuff. So if I make a mistake, you get to see it in real time with me. And I don't run from and or hide from the things that I've done wrong like I used to. And we'll get into that as we talk about who we are, where we are, and facing our hard and real truths. But we've been talking about self-care, and it started out as what I thought was going to be a week-long segment, but we are in our third week of talking about self-care. Because in order to do self-care wherever you are now, or to start learning about self-care, you got to learn who you are now. And depending on your age, you've gone through early adulthood, middle adulthood, or late adulthood. And we went over that some sessions back. But girl, 46, so I'm in that good middle adulthood stage. So there's some things I've gone through and some things I have yet to go through. And as I learn how to maneuver through those things, I want to be able to help you guys too. And so with our self-care, the first thing we had to do was establish some self-love. You go through so many different things that you usually forget about: putting yourself first, loving yourself no matter what it is you've gone through, and being able to be who you are in the moment, and knowing who you are and developing these things about yourself so you'll know how to take care of yourself. And in loving yourself again, you had to become aware of who you are and aware of the people around you, aware of those that are in your corner to steal your identity, steal your ideas, or steal your personality to try to make it their own. But they'll struggle. We talked about that because remember, your lane is your lane. Nobody else is supposed to be in it because we all have our own lane. We're individual and we walk these paths and things, ourselves. And so this week, before we can get to preserving ourselves to take care of ourselves, we have to develop ourselves. So now we're going into the mode of self-development, and it becomes personal. And so today's shirt says, personal development. You have the brain with a battery charger, and we have that because it doesn't matter what stage of adulthood that you're in right about now. Everybody is charging some type of device to connect. And so self-development becomes in connecting with who you are now and where you want to go. And each shirt does have the Real Talk Therapy 101 logo on there at some point. And then as we come down, because we had to have our makeshift station, or makeshift station I should say, on the outside. Our bag for today is the Coach belt bag, just the brown, to accent a little bit of what we have on. I traveled today, so you guys have seen the Coach luggage that I use to carry out. And please excuse my bod. I told y'all my niece won't do it, and it's about time for me to get my hair done over anyway, but it's a little warm out here and I had to put this hair up some kind of way. But at any rate, that's our bag. And our shoes, bring out the burgundy in our little pants. In the work that I do, I am big on being comfortable when I'm out. I do a lot of getting in, getting out, going here, going there. So I like to be what I call business casual, but also relatable, and not too much dressy and out of sorts for the people that I work with, and the clients and things that I serve. And so it's just a level of comfort, but also it's who I am. I've developed to this place now. I've gotten to this place and I am comfortable in my skin. I am finally at a place of self-development where I'm beginning to know who I am again. And I hope that a lot of you are at that place as well, so that this week's intervention, or this week's talk, conversation, strategies, whatever you want to call it, you are able to come from a place of not who you used to be, but who you've developed yourself into being right now today. What worked for you yesterday may not work for you today. There's a saying, I've heard a couple of people say it when they're trying to sell and buy stuff. And y'all, I got my pen cap stuck in my y'all know my little thing that I be doing from. So I don't know why for right now that was wormy. But at any rate, I've heard people say that today's price is not yesterday's price. And that's how you have to feel about your mental health. You know, what works for you today may not have worked for you yesterday. What you need in your life today may not be what you needed a few years ago. And you guys can probably hear our security system that says, "Smile, you're being recorded." So literally, you are being recorded. Now I'm gonna tell you, you come out here at your own risk. That's all I'm gonna put out there. You come out here at your own risk. The people say I can defend myself if you ain't welcome here. So I'm gonna put that disclaimer out there. You ain't got no business out here. Don't come out here. But today we are talking about self-development, what that looks like, how we relate it to where we've come in the past 2 weeks. Who am I? What parts have I developed? What goals do I want to reach now? Where is it that I want to go? What is it that's a plateau for me? What are the things that I want to hold on to? What are those things that, since I've fallen in love with myself again, what are some of the things that I like to do without it being an explanation or a conversation with whomever? You have to take a little bit of time for yourself. If you don't, you will be out there in your water with 2 paddles and some help, stuck, because you don't even know which way you want to go. And excuse me, y'all know I have to drink something, a little water out here. But anyway, and when you're on these journeys, when you're trying to figure out who I am, what I want, where I'm going, and how that fits into the dynamics of the roles that I play. So if I'm a sister, how does it affect me being a sister to my siblings? If I'm a daughter, how does that affect me being the child to my parent or parents? If I am a cousin, how does that affect me with communicating with my family? If I'm a wife, how do I now navigate through being a wife in this new place of falling in love with who I am, being aware of who's around me, who I want around me, and what I want to happen? And now I'm developing the personality. It's personal, based off what I've been through, as to what I'm able to deal with now, move forward with, that I couldn't deal with and look forward to before. So this week we begin the task of self-development, and it's just what it says. Now that I know who I am, I love these things about me, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm okay with it. I'm aware of who's around me and what they're around me for. Now I can focus on developing the type of woman and or man that I want to be and how I see myself moving forward. Remember, we're coming from a place of going back to the basics of what we see, not what society has tried to paint a picture of, not what other people have tried to tell you are, not whatever, thing you've gone down these paths that just led you to nowhere. So now you know where you want to go, and you're developing a pathway to get there. And that's what we're going to do this week. And next week, you're going to learn how to preserve it. And then we're going to jump back into our regularly scheduled conversations. But at any rate, at this point, you're now beginning to know who your cheerleaders are versus who your fans are. You know who's around you with a motive versus who's around you because they genuinely care about you and they love you. Now you have to answer those age-old questions of, who am I now? What do I want? What are my values and standards? What's my tolerance level for some of the things that I used to deal with that I don't deal with anymore? I can tell y'all right now, my patience is seeming to be the first thing that goes with me. I have a very low tolerance for repetitiveness and foolishness when it comes to personal things. Now, professionally, in my nature is what I would have to work with, but just petty you know, petty foolishness and friendships that are one-sided or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? I'm no longer accepting your opinion of me. Now, listen to me closely. People can have their opinion. They're entitled to it. They're entitled to it because it's theirs. But what you and I don't have to do is be who they want us to be or be this makeshift or fall into their opinion. You have a voice and an opinion too. So in these stages of self-development, you have to develop that portion of yourself that is just no nonsense. I ain't get ready to deal with it. I ain't got time. Or I hear what you're saying. However, this is my thought on it. And we can find some common ground to agree to disagree. Or we ain't got to find no common ground at all. You said how you felt. I said how I felt. And we figure out how to maneuver past it and move through it if it's doable. Some things are not doable. You know, some of these things are gonna clash like the Titans, and then you gotta make an executive decision for your life whether you're gonna bow out gracefully or, you know, try to keep it moving. And with every domain or every different thing that we go through, the fight and the battle and all those different things are different from what they were in the beginning. You know, all of this stuff is different. And so just to get us started for this week, y'all know I come with a character or an analogy or something to help us out with this thing. And so today we are looking at my guy, Pepe Le Pew. Now, Pepe Le Pew is one of the Looney Tunes characters. And on the surface, Pepe Le Pew is a skunk. And by all things that we know about a skunk, I think the one thing that sticks out the most for any and all of us is the smell that they would emit only if they feel like they're in danger. So a skunk can be around you and you not smell it at all unless it feels like it's in danger. But because that's what we associate with skunks and that's what we know, and most of the time we think they're supposed to have this white thing down the back of their tail. There are some all black skunks, different color ones in different places. But the biggest thing about a skunk is knowing that if this skunk is going about his business and you aren't posing a threat, you never have to smell the skunk. So what you already are afraid of from what you hear and what you see is not even a threat to you unless you pose a threat. So in self-development, you have to know these things that people are gonna come, because you know now they see you, but they're still focused on how you used to be before you fell in love with yourself again and before you became aware of why they were around you in the first place. So now you're developing yourself, and some of those things requires guards to be put up. So when people see you, they're still looking at the characteristics that you've worked so hard to move from. You know, you are a new creature. You're self-developed in a whole new way. Your thoughts are different. Your walk is different. Your talk is different. Where you hang out, what you used to do, all of that stuff is different, because for your peace, remember, your peace is priceless. For your peace, you should be willing to forfeit anything that's costing you, you know, your peace. And so when we think about Pepe Le Pew, he's developed the type of self-love that I think we all need to develop. My guy Pepe Le Pew, it doesn't matter that he's a skunk, that, you know, he's known to be stinky, and on the cartoon his aura is following him wherever he goes, but his character is a hopeless romantic, and the only thing he wants is love. That's all he's looking for. He's looking for a nice lady friend, lady skunk to be with, and usually when he finds one, he woos her to the highest level of wootivity. Okay, he bringing flowers, dinners, he's talking in the French and a la ooh wee and this and that. And he's talking about how she looks and he's giving her compliments, and he's all into these women that he come into contact with, and all he wants from them is a little companionship. But the minute that they smell him, because remember, his aura is following him wherever he goes, they run away from him. They don't want to be bothered. You know, the hunters don't try to catch him because of the smell. So he's technically safe because he's developed an aura of safety that follows him that a lot of people shy away from. And so there's 1 or 2 episodes where he truly finds his mate, and he finds it in another skunk, you know, because she already knows what that aura is about. So she's attracted and she's drawn to that. But in the real world, we don't necessarily walk around with our guards to the point where people can see them. Now, some people say, you know, depending on the day that you catch me and the time of the day, you look at me, I have the resting, you know what, face. I wear that very well. And a lot of times I'm not looking at you in that manner. I'm just trying to hear what you're saying to me and understand what's going on with you. So I got to focus and tune in, and I can't do that. Listen to you and be like this. Oh, hey, oh, no, I need to focus. And so the way that I need to focus is going to look a certain way to other people, but I can't be apologetic for that. We've talked about my tone. Y'all know I get up and down with it. I'm outside, so I'm trying to be a little refrained and contained so nobody don't think nothing going on back here. But with my tone, depending on what I'm talking about, and if you're able to see me in action and hear me when I go there, anybody could easily say, you know, she's upset or she's mad or I ain't going around her, she's mean. No, it's not that. So you can't always judge a book by its cover. That's one thing that you will not hear me break down or turn around or nothing, because you really can't. The cover of a book is the cover of the book. It's giving you an idea of what's on the inside. So when we look at people, when we see folks, what we see on the outside is just a version of what we see, but we don't know what's on the inside because we haven't taken the time to read the pages and do those things that we need to do. And so in that, you got to be careful when you pick up a book and think that you can just get to the nitty-gritty of what's going on just by, you know, looking at the cover of a book, because it's impossible. You cannot. You really have to read it with people. You got to get to know who they are, learn different things about them. Don't just judge. Ultimately, from that, you really got to sit down and read the book to know what it's about. And so, you know, on the cartoon, everybody ran away from this person who's simply a hopeless romantic. That's all he is. That's all he wants, is somebody to show him some love. That's all he's seeking. And like I said, when he's trying to get with these, because some of them are cats, he didn't care. He just wanted love. And when he's trying to get with them, Pepe Le Pew pulled out all the stops. Now, my man did, you know, everything most females would wish a guy is doing when they're dating and or rekindling flames, or, you know, getting things back to where they used to be in relationships, whatever it may be. And I definitely have to say that goes both ways. So, you know, females, we have to continue to court our men, or whatever, your gender or your other half, or, you know, your mate, your partner, whatever it is. When you're in a relationship, in order to keep those fires burning, both of you gotta add flame to the fire. You can't just sit around and wait for the other one. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. Staying on personal development and talking about Pepe Le Pew, he developed a level of confidence despite this aura that he walked around with that people would run away from. It didn't keep him from chasing what he ultimately wanted, which was somebody to love. And so in self-development, you cannot allow the new version of you to keep you from the progress that you've made and take you back to where you've worked so hard to come from. When you become a different person, I don't care if you go back into the same relationship that you've left out 50 times. The 50th time, there needs to be a conversation that hasn't been had before. Because something is drawing you to this person, but who are we now? What is this relationship now? I don't care if you quit a job 50, 11 times and the people let you come back the 50, 11th time. There has to be a change, because if you keep going into these situations the same way you just came out of them, chances are you're not going to see any change, because a lot of times we always look for other people to make the change instead of recharging our battery and make the changes within ourselves. You have to know who you are and start looking at yourself from others' views, but you do not have to take that on and self-reflect what other people think about you. You develop the narrative of what's being said about you, what's being done that's in your favor. And so, of course, you know, we can't give no more than that, because I'll sit here and talk you all the way through the week. But we got to have a conversation, a daily conversation, so that we can really understand what self-care means to us, and how we can make sure we're providing self-care for ourselves. We can't keep being spent taking care of everybody else and never doing anything for us. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please comment, like, share. Let's get this thing moving. We did get past our 50 followers. And so I have a little YouTube plateau that I have to submit some stuff for, and then I'm heading on for 50 more, guys, because this stuff is real. Our mental health is real, and if we don't take care of it like we do every other facet of what we can take care of in our lives, you will find yourself on the receiving end of not knowing how to function and not knowing how to manage, and kind of not having a choice but to get some help at that point. So remember, Self-Care 103, because we're in the third segment of self-care, and we're talking about self-development, personal development. It's all about you, and in order for you to develop something within you, you had to get to know yourself. So remember, that didn't just stop. You should be dating yourself and complimenting yourself and doing all these things to help yourself every single day. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and I hope you all have a good one. Bye now.